IOL Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for taking time to participate in this earning call. It gives me immense pleasure to introduce Dr. Sanjay Chaturvedi, who has been appointed as IOL Chief Executive Officer. Dr. Sanjay has been actively a part of the specialty chemicals and pharmaceuticals industry for over 25 years. Dr. Sanjay brings a demonstrated track record along with the functional expertise in P&L, sales, marketing, strategy, manufacturing, and R&D in USA and India. He was involved in several key roles at various leading organizations. Thank you, and over to Dr. Sanjay Chaturvedi.
Thank you, Mr. Khanna, for your kind words. Good afternoon, everyone. I hope everyone, you and your loved ones, your families are doing well, keeping safe and in good health in these trying pandemic times. I'm delighted to have accepted this position in March of this year at IOL CP. Clearly, many of you know the company, and you've also had a chance to read the earnings document, and I look forward to answering any questions you have. But before we take up the questions, I would like to shed some light on the business and kind of share my perspective on the performance for the year gone by. And my colleague, Mr. Khanna, will then provide you a lot more granular details of the financials. So, I also want to spend some time on not just the financial numbers, but on the story behind the financials. So, clearly, you know that IOL Chemicals and Pharma is one of the leading API players and, bulk drug manufacturers. We've been leading players in certain products in the specialty chemical segment as well. So, on the pharma side, we are the largest producer of ibuprofen with an installed capacity of about 12,000 metric tons. And we are a player with complete backward integration for all the major chemicals that are required to produce ibuprofen. And what I want you to read in this story is that going forward, how does one leverage a backward integration position into other APIs as well? Coming back to ibuprofen, we currently hold about 35% world market share. On the chemical side, we are one of the top producers of ethyl acetate, and we are delighted to inform you that in Q4 of last year, we expanded our capacity from 87,000 metric tons to 100,000 metric tons in ethyl acetate. As you may already know, ethyl acetate has a wide application beyond pharma. It goes into ink industry, packaging, adhesives, and surface coatings. So this really, de-risks our business away from pharma a little bit and helps us get a footprint into other industries as well. We are also the second largest producer of isobutyl benzene, which is a key intermediate for ibuprofen, and we hold about 30% market share. I'm delighted to inform you that we have successfully installed new manufacturing facility, Unit 8, to manufacture ibuprofen derivatives and some other pharma products. We are in the process of setting up two more manufacturing units, facility, Unit 9 and Unit 10. Unit 9 will be primarily for gabapentin with a capacity of over 600 tons and some other pharma products. And Unit 10 will be used for manufacturing multiple pharma products. So the installation of both these units is on schedule, and all the full capex will be met through internal accruals. Delighted to inform that we have a real state-of-the-art R&D facility, which is approved by Department of Scientific and Industrial Research, DSIR, and this is equipped with all the modern equipment and analytical tools to research on the pharma API side. Coming on to the financials, the headline is, yes, it was a very challenging year for COVID during COVID times, and yet we managed to deliver 4% growth on our top line. We grew from 1910 in FY20 to 1991 in FY21. Our EBITDA grew from 590 crores to 616 crores, and this is really a remarkable achievement during a COVID time. But the most remarkable achievement was really our PAT, which grew 23% from 361 crores to 445 crores. This was largely attributed to a lower financial cost. In this global chemicals and pharma supply chain, We continue to take advantage of new opportunities when they present themselves. In conclusion, let me deliver a very clear message that IOL Chemicals and Pharma is very well geared with the right infrastructure, with the right tools, with the right team to deliver any opportunity that is available in the market that requires, skilled, dedicated manpower, expansion, and leverages our world-class facilities. So with this, I would like to hand over to my colleague, Mr. Pradeep Khanna, the CFO, who will be talking more in details. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Chaturvedi. Good afternoon, everyone, and warm welcome to IOL CP Q4 and full year 2021 earnings call. I will take you through mentioned highlights for the quarter ended March 31, 21. Total revenue for the quarter increased by 4% to rupees 466 crore as compared to rupees 447 crore in Q4 of financial year 21. For financial year 21, it has been higher by 4% to 1991 crore as compared to rupees 1910 crore in the same period last year. In Q4 of financial year 21, EBITDA was rupees 117 crore as against rupees 142 crore reported in the fourth financial quarter of the preceding year. EBITDA margin in Q4 of financial year 21 has dropped to 25% from 32% in Q4 of 21. For financial year 21, EBITDA has increased by 4% to rupees 616 crore as compared to 590 crore in the same period of the last year, and EBITDA margin was stagnated at 31% during financial year 21 and financial year 20. Depreciation for the quarter was rupees 10 crore, while the finance cost declined by 48% from 2.8 crore in Q4 of financial year 20 to rupees 1.4 crore only in Q4 of financial year 21. Profit after tax for Q4 of financial year 21 stood at rupees 75 crore as against 90 crore during Q4 of financial year 20. For the whole year 21, our PAT stood at 445 crore as compared to 361 crore in financial year 20. PAT margin was for Q4 was 16% as compared to 20% in Q4 of financial year 20. In financial year 21, PAT margin increased to 22% from 19% in financial year 20. With this, I would now request the moderator to open the forum for question and answer session. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We will now begin the question and answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and one on the touchtone telephone. If you wish to remove yourself from the question queue, you may press star and two. Participants are requested to use handsets while asking a question. Ladies and gentlemen, we will wait for a moment while the question queue assembles. Participants, you may press star and one to ask a question. Ladies and gentlemen, you may press star and one to ask a question. The first question is from the line of Manish Poddar from Nippon India AIF. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Hi, sir. Thanks for doing the call. So, can you help me with a few questions? So first is, let's say, can you talk about, the EBIT margin for ibuprofen for Q4 of this year versus the base year? How much would that number be?
Are you talking about the EBITDA for only ibuprofen or for the pharma sector?
For only the ibuprofen. So let's say ibuprofen sales were roughly 170 crores in this quarter versus 250 crores. I'm just trying to understand, let's say, what sort of EBIT margin, given that you give EBIT by segments. So I'm just trying to understand how does EBIT stack up there?
Okay. So for ibuprofen, our EBIT dropped a little bit, and it's for that end of quarter, it was around 40%.
And how much would be that in the base quarter?
About 44%.
44%. So
Yeah.
would it be right, let's say, then the other segments, let's say the other pharma segments, you incurred a loss during this quarter? Because if you take a 40% margin and let's say 65 crores the EBIT for the pharma division and a 40% on the ibuprofen numbers, give a loss for the other pharma division. So despite their contribution increasing, you incurred a loss there.
So, rather than look at it as a loss, we are looking at as a cost of entering the market. The plant is not, the asset utilization is not full on these plants. And as those volumes pick up and we start ramping up and getting more and more approvals into customers, that financials will improve.
Okay. And this margin, let's say this $4 margin contraction in ibuprofen, is that largely a function of, your lower capacity utilization, or are you witnessing any inflation on the raw material side?
So I think it's a combination of factors. One is, of course, there is a softening in the demand. So what we experienced in the last year was that Q1 and Q2 customers picked up a lot more volume, whereas there was a softening in the volume in Q3 and Q4. But more than that, there was also a bit of softening in the prices as well. So it was a combination of the two factors that resulted in the situation.
So would you be able to help me with the utilization level in Q4 for ibuprofen?
Yeah, so ibuprofen level on an average, our utilization is between 70 and 75% for Q4. Okay,
and just one final one from my side is that how do you look at your ibuprofen in FY22, and what is the stable sort of EBIT margin should one see for FY22 or 23 going ahead?
Thank you.
Okay, so I think let me answer this question in two ways. One is Q1 of this year, the softening of the volume continues, but we expect that to pick up in the later quarters. So in terms of our asset utilization, we expect our asset utilization for ibuprofen to be 90% and above for this year. Speaking of prices, yes, they already softened, so we expect stable price of ibuprofen without going down any further.
Okay, and sorry, just the full year of capacity utilization, what was that for FY21?
I'm sorry, I was not able to hear what you were saying. Can you repeat your question?
I'm trying to understand. Let's say when you said 90% should be the utilization for FY22, what was this full year number for FY21?
That was around 75-80%.
So we're looking at roughly 15% growth with stable margins. That is how one should look at it.
Yes.
Okay, great. I have a couple of more. I'll join back with you. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Rajesh Mehta from Family Wealth LLP. Please go ahead.
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, good afternoon. So my question is, what are the new products that we are looking at, and how much will new products add value in terms of revenue?
Okay. So I would say, let me give you the headline first. Okay.
Yes.
And the headline is that we were historically an ibuprofen company that last couple of years has diversified into other APIs as well. Okay. Right. If I look at what are the other APIs that we have commercialized, we have molecules like metformin, we have clopidogrel, we have pantoprazole. Now we are going to be doing valsartan. So a couple of other molecules have been added into the mix. If I look at FY2021, which is the year gone by, compared to the previous year, there was a substantial growth in the non-ibuprofen business that we did, and we expect to continue that trend going forward this year as well.
Okay, right. And one more question, sir. So, if we look at the current product-wise segmentation, we notice that the share in the chemical segment is higher. So, can you give us a rationale behind that, or is it going to be sustainable, or is it just a one-off that has happened? And if the management can give a guidance regarding the path ahead for the product split.
Okay. So, in Q4 of last year, it was a bit of an aberration. Two things happened simultaneously. One was a softening in the demand and the prices for ibuprofen, and simultaneously, we expanded our capacity on ethyl acetate from 87,000 tons to 100,000 tons, and so we got a positive volume variance, we got a positive price variance, and therefore that's more of an aberration where the chemicals business seems a lot more than the pharma business.
Okay. Yes. Thank you so much.
But let me also add a bit of color to that if you look at trend lines should never be judged quarter by quarter. They should be judged over a substantial period of time to really figure out where the company is going. So if you look at FY17-18, for example, and you compare what have we accomplished over a 4 or 5 year period, what we have accomplished is that in 5 years, the product portfolio of the company has morphed from roughly 50-50 to almost 60% being pharma.
Right. Okay.
Thank you.
Yes.
The next question is from the line of Ashish Thavkar from Motilal Oswal Asset Management. Please go ahead.
Yes, for the opportunity. So on the ibuprofen, the current price is at $12 to $13. If you could help us understand, is there a downside to these prices, and particularly the capacity expansion by BASF in Germany, how's that shaping up?
So I would say, is there an opportunity for a downside? I think the short answer is yes, there is an opportunity for a downside to every product in the world. Okay, but given our experience in ibuprofen, we feel that these prices are fairly stable. The prices this year are, and even in Q4, reduced by about $1 or $1.50, and we expect these to be stable prices.
Okay, and so are the prices very different between the regulated markets and the non-reg ones?
Not that different, maybe by a few percentage points, but unlike other products where you see a huge difference between regulated and semi-regulated prices, that's typically not the case in commodity products.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. And any update on, like, we were about to set up multi-purpose plants for fenofibrate, lamotrigine, and UDCAs. So any update on that?
Yeah, so we are going to be commercializing in the next quarter these plants. So that's when the commercials will also start rolling out soon thereafter. So Unit 8 we have already commercialized, and that's the plant that will be doing levetiracetam and sartan. And Unit 9 and Unit 10 will be commercialized in the next quarter. The commissioning is in the next quarter.
Okay. So in terms of capital allocation, so what is this pharma and especially the API and the chemicals business, where are we putting money?
So, we are really, putting money onto the pharma API side of our segments. We've already put about more than 20 crores for Unit 8. We have allocated around 60 crores for Unit 9 and about 30 crores of capex for Unit 10. So, this is all already allocated for, and that brings the total to about 112 crores.
Okay, so this is which the capex which is already done. So okay, any plans over the next, as we continue to de-risk or diversify our portfolio, next 12 to 24 months, any capex program you can share with us?
Yeah, so we will consistently be deploying capex of about 100 crores plus year on year, and to generate more products and more facilities.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. Okay, thanks. I have more questions. I'll get back in the queue.
Okay.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Ashish Rathi from Lucky Investment Managers. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity. Some extensions on the questions that have been asked about. Sir, if you could just specify to us what is the pricing, quantified in terms of ibuprofen. I understand it was around $13-14 earlier for export markets. Is it the same or is it any different now? Any different now?
So currently, it is stable at about $12.5. It's pretty stable at that level.
And for domestic?
It's more or less the same, if I look at the broad range of what we offer in the market, it's really between, 12 and 13. And in certain regulated markets where we have large volume contracts, it could be a bit higher there because they're contractually bound to pick it up. But the typical price difference between India and other markets is almost never more than $1 here or there.
And we've been talking of a softer demand in 3Q and 4Q, and it's visible in the top line growth that we've seen. What could be the reason for this? Would you attribute it to COVID, and do you expect this to come back? And what kind of numbers in terms of growth rate do you expect? Reason for the softer demand and the growth rate outlook.
Yeah. So I'll tell you two things happened for the softening of the demand. The first was, if you look at the entire year, it was, more or less the same demand as the previous year, maybe slightly more. But the challenge was that there was volatility in the demand. In the first 2 quarters, the demand was much higher, but in the subsequent 2 quarters, the demand was less. Is this a structural shift? No, this is not a structural shift. Part of it was, there was a media article that talked about, in terms of, pain management, ibuprofen not being very positive for COVID management. That report turned out subsequently to be not true based on scientific evidence, but that was also part of the reason why the demand softened. Because while the demand for ibuprofen softened, the demand for other pain management products went up. So is that a permanent shift? I don't think so.
So what kind of outlook we should look for ibuprofen growth, say, in FY22?
So we are looking at, roughly, improving our asset utilization from 80% to 90% plus, and, fairly stable prices.
So that's approximately 10% growth?
Yeah, 10 to 15% growth, yes.
Okay. And another thing is on the cash generation. We are generating now 300 to 400 crores cash every year in terms of operations. We have around 350 crores plus cash sitting on the balance sheet. What is the plan ahead? I understand you've announced 112 crores of capex. You've done 112 crores of capex. You're saying 100 crores per year going forward, but that's still a fraction of what we are generating. Any plans around distribution of cash or other utilizations?
So, we plan to use that cash for, a combination of both long-term and short-term initiatives for the company. We have a lot of very exciting future plans for the company, in which we will see that we will be deploying capex. This is yet to be frozen, so there are several options on the table, but clearly we understand that investors are interested in not setting idle cash on the balance sheet, so we will deploy that to deliver good growth for the company.
You want to increase the dividend as well in the process?
I didn't catch that. Your voice was not audible.
Do you wish to increase the dividend payout?
Do we wish to?
Increase the dividend payout?
So that is, we are considering that, this year we've already, our earnings per share has been around 76 rupees. We've declared 40 rupees and then 20 rupees. So 20% total dividend, 6 rupees. So I think that is on the, we are open to all things, a combination of rewarding the current investors for, short-term benefit versus long-term benefit.
Okay. And one more question with your permission, if I may. The drop in gross margin, especially, if you could elaborate on that, because there's a big drop QOQ and YOY. If the prices have been stable, the gross margin demand, the gross margin, ratios seem out of place.
Okay. So, gross margin, we think we will continue that trend. Q4 was certainly lower compared to the previous year. But if I look at the overall year, we had a fairly healthy gross margin for the year, and we hope to keep those numbers this year as well.
But why the volatility, in Q4?
You will always have volatility in a commodity product. Commodity products, by the very nature, tend to be more volatile than others. And what we need to do is manage the price and the volume to reduce that volatility. And so far, if I look at our ibuprofen business, almost half of that business is contractual, and we will be maintaining those contracts for this year as well. So that's how we hope to curb the volatility.
Sure, sir. I understand. I appreciate what you're saying, but I'm saying for the last 10 quarters or so, your margins for gross margins are 44-45%, including the last 3 quarters, including Q3 where it was a softer quarter with 44%. This quarter has come down by 500 basis points, and this will not happen in the last 9 quarters. So this is not like a regular volatility, as long as, as far as I can see on the numbers.
I'm so sorry, Ashish. I'm not able to hear what you're saying. It's very poor quality.
I'm really sorry. Is it any better now, or is it any better now? Hello? Is it any better?
Yeah, we are here, but we are not able to clearly hear.
Is it still soft? Is it still soft? Hello?
Hello?
Hello? Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, this is better now.
This is better? Fine. I'll just, my question was that in the last 9 quarters, we have seen the gross margins to be around 45% consistently. There's barely any volatility, like you mentioned, in commodity companies or commodity supplies. But this quarter, there's a 500 basis point drop. Okay? In the last 9 quarters, it has been at 45% only. So there's no volatility per se. But this quarter, the 500 basis point is something that I thought, we could have an explanation for.
Okay. So, it was really a result of destocking. So the very high gross margins that you saw, 45% plus gross margins for the initial quarters was really when customers were picking up a lot more ibuprofen than they typically pick up. And what happened in the last quarter was destocking, whereas, the volume had softened and our end customers were simply eliminating the excess stocks that they had purchased in the previous quarters.
Okay. Thank you, Sanjay, and I wish you all the best in your new stint, and wish all the best to the IOL team as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashish.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Venkat from 3 Sigma Financial Service. Please go ahead.
Thanks for the opportunity, and welcome to IOCL, Sanjay. This is the first earning call we are having. My question is more from a broader side, since you joined the management. So is there any change in the direction of thought, whether you wanted to continue to remain a commodity company, or you wanted to get into some specialty business where, the margins could be high and, there is some amount of predictability in all these aspects?
Yeah. So, thank you very much for your kind words, and, the short answer is yes. We are evaluating more and more products, and, it's not just a question of evaluating the products. You've clearly seen the trend. If I look at our pharma business, the non-ibuprofen business is certainly growing faster than the ibuprofen business. So, that clearly means that, we have a clear intent along with the ability to execute that stated intent of growing in pharma and growing the non-ibu part of pharma more than the ibuprofen part. And we will continue that journey, and more products will be added to the portfolio. So as I said, Unit 8 has already been commercialized, and, we are planning to commercialize Unit 9 and 10 in the next coming quarters. So you will hear of more products coming out from our stable.
Yeah, coming to Unit 8, which is gabapentin, which you are planning for like 600, tons per annum and all that. So, again, that is getting into a commodity mode. So, is this the direction you are looking? Even the new products that you are going to bring, they would come into some kind of commoditizing product. Yeah, there is already a capacity available for gabapentin within the country as well. There are some large players. So is this the direction that are you planning to continue, or rather IOLCP is planning to continue?
So, we have a two-pronged strategy, Venkat, really, when we look at new products. So when you talk about a commodity product, unless we are sufficiently backward integrated and get the efficiency of scale and backward integration, we will not enter the product. And that's where a product like gabapentin would be. Whereas we also have a range of, other products like, UDCA, lamotrigine, fenofibrate and others, where we are focusing on the technology innovation more than just the price war.
Okay. So my second question is, a lot of companies were complaining about supply chain, particularly for the quarter ended March 31st. So they were complaining about the higher supply chain costs. Did you incur similar stuff, or did you have some different strategy that you were able to overcome? Because that was not mentioned in the call so far.
Yeah, so we haven't mentioned that specifically because we expect this is not a structural shift, but a temporary blip. And like everybody else, we also experienced slightly higher costs for the quarter.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. A request to all the participants, please use handsets while asking questions to the management. The next question is from the line of Vijay Ajmera from Sushil and Shah Company. Please go ahead.
Hi, I just wanted to understand what sort of revenue addition are we looking at given the capex that we've already done?
Okay. So, this is really an iterative process, and based on the capex that is already done, we do envision us getting, maybe 200 crores plus 220 crores addition. But will all of that happen in 1 year? It typically takes 1 or 2 years for that, products to get approved and all that revenue to build in. So on the capex side that we've deployed, we talked about 112 crores. You can expect at steady state, it will add a 200 crore plus top line to the business. But at a general level, our visibility is, about 15% growth this year versus last year.
And what sort of margins are we looking at on these new products, since these are specialty?
So one really needs to look at, at what scale of asset utilization are you in the new products. So clearly, in the early years, it would be lower asset utilization, so the margin would be lower. But, certainly, we do expect that at steady state, these will have gross margins of, 40% region to deliver an EBIT of at least, 25-30%.
And this will happen over a span of the next 2 years. For the foreseeable 1 year, we're still looking at 60 crores, 70 crores?
It would be hard to give that number. I could give 60 crores and then get crucified for doing 50. So I don't know what is the number to give. But directionally, that's where we will go. Whether that will happen, see, the thing about customer approvals is it doesn't happen quarter by quarter. So a customer may give me an approval, but the business may pick up in the subsequent quarter. So I think what is more important is directionally where we are going rather than exactly what is the number we will hit this quarter and the next quarter.
Just one more question on the chemical side. Are we diversifying into the chemical space, because currently we are still getting most of the revenue from ethyl acetate and 2 backward integrated chemicals. So what is our trajectory on the chemical side?
Okay. So, you rightly pointed out that there are certain chemicals in which we are backward integrated, and that business capacity is not something we plan to expand. That will really depend on our own captive consumption, and whatever is the balance, we sell that into the merchant market. On the ethyl acetate side, we've given a clear intent. We've expanded capacity from 87,000 tons to 100,000 tons. So the increase in business that you see on the chemical side is really a result of capacity expansion. And having said that, the price for ethyl acetate has also gone up in the market, so we are enjoying that benefit as well.
Just one question which is slightly generic in nature, not company specific. Do we have any larger idea to get into the CRAMS space? Although it's a very specialized area of business, but do we think that we have the R&D or the investment idea to get in the CRAMS business, CRAMS CDMO?
So, I would say, Vijay, right now we are evaluating a lot of, adjacencies and growth platforms and areas for the company, and CRAMS is certainly one of them. As and when we finish their due diligence and, decide on what direction to take, we'll certainly share those plans with you.
All right, sir. That'll be it from my end. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I request all the participants, please use handsets while asking questions. The next question is from the line of Abhishek Kapoor, an individual investor. Please go ahead.
Thank you for the opportunity, sir. Actually, I have 2 questions.
one first question is, are we looking for the approval of API from US FDA or other agencies which are under development?
Yes, for certain products we are.
Okay. And in any of the existing products except ibuprofen?
Yes. So we have 4 US DMFs. So clearly, those products are under approval at some US customers, and as and when that volume picks up, you will see an improvement in the financials in the non-ibu side of the pharma business.
Right, sir. And one more question, sir. The API which are under development, are these kind of Me Too products, or these are you are doing some innovation in the process basically? Because I know one of the chemicals, Telmisartan, there are many manufacturers in India. Other I am not aware of.
Yeah, so clearly the whole generic game itself is a process innovation game. So it would be unfair for me to say that we are not doing process innovations. We certainly are, and that is exactly a combination of process innovation and backward integration is what will get us the right cost position to successfully play in these molecules. So we are looking at process innovations. So the molecule is a Me Too molecule in the sense, yes, it is a generic molecule, and the molecule has been generic for a while. But what we bring to the table is our technical competency, our ability to scale up, and our ability to backward integrate along with process innovation.
Okay. Is there any product which is in demand but there are not many suppliers in India out of these products which are under development?
Not too many of these. I would say for most of the products that we've taken up in the first scope of diversification beyond ibuprofen, we purposefully took products where the market uncertainty was low. In other words, there should be a significant market, and what we bring to the table is a certain scale and quality and backward integration. And since COVID, clearly a lot of end customers are talking about de-risking themselves from China, and if you provide a platform to de-risk from China with backward integration, we believe that will be a winning strategy going forward.
Right, sir. Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity and all the best.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Lok Bhatia from AUM Fund Advisors. Please go ahead.
Hi, my questions have been answered. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Anupam Agrawal from Lucky Investment Managers. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Hi, sir. Good afternoon, and thank you for doing the call. So firstly, I want to ask you the question on working capital. Our top line has grown by a modest 4%, but our inventory has gone up by 55-57% for the year, from 190 to 295 crores. Can you just elaborate a bit there, please?
Yeah. So, on the inventory side, it has gone up. As I said, the plants are certainly running, and there was a softening in the demand, so our inventory of the product piled up. But again, this is, a short-term, not a structural shift, and we have material at the port. So, once all of that clears, you will see the inventory coming back to more normal levels.
What sort of inventory do you think we expect going forward?
So, I think around, if I look at, I'm just looking at my data to see how much material total we have in transit and in port. It's what, 111? 111 crores. Yeah, so it's about 111 crores right now, the total material we have in port and in transit.
Understood. So secondly, if you could just quantify the asset utilization for our key molecules in the pharma space, ethyl acetate, metformin, gabapentin, pantoprazole, clopidogrel, for the full year. That will be.
I'm sorry, I couldn't. Your audio was not very clear. Can you repeat the question, please?
Hello, am I audible now?
Yes.
Yeah. So if you could just quantify the asset utilization for each of our molecules, ethyl acetate, metformin, gabapentin, pantoprazole, clopidogrel.
So, rather than give you, a breakup of all the asset utilization, I would say at a general level, our ethyl acetate asset utilization is, as close to 100%. In fact, the reason we expanded capacity was because we were crossing the asset utilization beyond 100%. In terms of, ibuprofen, our asset utilization was at about 80%, and this year will be at about 90%. If I look at some of the other products ranging from what APIs they are, the asset utilization ranges from roughly, 40 to 70%.
So you mean to say 70% is peak in those plants?
No, 70% of capacity.
Okay. And at peak we can do about 90-95%?
Yes.
Okay. Sir, I just want to clarify one comment about pricing of ethyl acetate. You mentioned you enjoyed certain benefits. Is it because of acetic acid prices going up and you could pass on the prices, or was there some other function?
Yeah, I would say broadly raw material prices going up and successfully passing on that cost increase to end customers.
Are you able to pass on completely, or is there some absorption that you have to do at your end as well?
So we were able to pass on that cost as a price increase almost completely.
Got it. Thank you, and all the best. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Anupam.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Manish Poddar from Nippon India AIF. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Hi, sir. Thanks for the follow-up. So, just, 2 data keeping points. One is, would you help me with, let's say, ibuprofen margins for the full year, let's say FY20 versus FY21? Let's say EBIT margins?
I would say they would be, more or less consistent with each other.
So it will be 40%. Is that was the number for Q4? So that is how one should look at it?
Yeah.
Okay. And what is the outlook, let's say, on this, ethyl acetate segment? What sort of growth and, let's say, what sort of margin should one build it, let's say, given that you're running already at, full utilization in Q4?
Yeah.
So, what is the, sort of growth which one builds in, given I believe now, margins are healthy. That is why you are running at, you're operating that facility.
Mm-hmm.
So, what is the outlook up here?
So I would say traditionally, the margins in that business have been 8 to 10%. Currently, they are between 14 and 15%. Our asset utilization clearly is very high. We have expanded capacity, and once the new additional capacity is fully utilized, at that point, we are currently in the midst of evaluating options in terms of what other products to do, both on the pharma API side and as well as the chemical side.
So let's say you did about, 830 odd crores sales in FY2021, and let's say 250 was the quarterly run rate, so you can do about 1,000 crores in this capacity. So already at 82% utilization for full year.
Yes.
So
yes.
Do you expect, let's say, utilization to be lower for this year with margins stabilizing in that 8 to 10% band? Is that how one should look at it?
No, we expect the asset utilization to be similar as last year with the expanded capacity.
Okay. And just one thing, is there an internal target, let's say, for all these new products, let's say from a 2-year or a 3-year perspective, let's say, you want to have an absolute X rupees sale, or let's say, I don't know, you look at it from an EBITDA point of view. Is there an internal target which you can probably, call out?
So I have an internal target. I don't have an external target, unfortunately. But what I will tell you, Manish, is our intent is, few years ago we were 50-50 between chemicals and pharma. Today we are roughly 40-60, where 60 is pharma. If I go a few years out, our intent would be to be 70-30, where 70 will come from pharma.
Okay. And large part of this, let's say, because you did only 100 crores capex, so like you earlier mentioned, this remaining part of capex you will utilize either for, let's say, going either inorganic or for any CRAMs or any sort of other thing, but not, let's say, giving it back to the shareholders in form of dividend.
So, all options are on the table. I don't want to say no to not giving it to shareholders, but, we are yet to freeze that.
Oh, okay. Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Ritika Agrawal from ValueQuest Investment Advisors. Please go ahead.
Hi, sir. Thank you for taking my question. So my first question is on ibuprofen pricing that you expect it to remain stable going ahead. So what we are hearing is BASF has already resumed its US plant and is also commercializing a new plant in Germany. Also, Solara has just recently expanded capacities. So what makes us confident of pricing not dipping further, as pricing from last year of $18 has now come down to $12?
So, Ritika, thank you for asking the question. I think the $18 pricing is, a sporadic shipments that you will see. On a stable basis, the pricing last year was around $13 to $14. And this year we expect that to be about $12. So this softening that we see is a result of the new plant that BASF has already started. And having said that, it is unlikely that they will bring all of that capacity into India, because it's you're manufacturing it in a different geography, and one has to factor in with enhanced logistics cost. Does it really make sense to be transporting these products back and forth across long distances? And the most important thing one must consider in a product like ibuprofen is, what will you do about backward integration? We are placed very well because we are backward integrated into isobutyl benzene, whereas some of our other competitors are not. So, I think the price has come down, but we do believe that this pricing level would be stable going forward.
Okay. Okay. And secondly, what kind of additional capacities are you adding on ibuprofen with the Unit 8?
So Unit 8 has not really ibuprofen, it has ibuprofen derivatives. That would be a modest capacity addition. It is more for certain customers who are looking at differentiated products. So one should not look at it as creating a whole new ibu line. So if I look at the capex that the company is deploying, it is really more in non-ibu products than in ibu products.
Okay, so would it be correct to say no material ibuprofen capacity on 12,000 metric tons that we are adding for our company?
That is correct.
Okay. Okay, sir. And lastly, just on intermediate pricing, you've already commented on that, but has the EBIT margins falling down by 400 basis points in any case related to intermediate prices going up?
Well, I think it's more a question of the overall volume softening and the prices softening for ibuprofen.
Okay.
And, we expected higher, overhead and shipping costs. So all of that went up. That resulted in lower EBIT margins.
Okay. Sure. That's it from my side, sir. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Sunil Jain from Nirmal Bang Securities. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir, for taking my question. Sir, my question relates to ethyl acetate. If you see the other player who are there in your competition, they had done very good margin in this product in this quarter, and they are also not backward integrated. So, what is the difference between them and us?
I think the one difference that you will see between them and us is certainly one is the capacity part, but more important is the geographic location. So, they sell primarily into the western and the southern region, whereas what we are selling is a lot into the northern region and also now into the southern region as well. So the enhanced logistics costs that we have, they make it prohibitive to, I can't make ethyl acetate where I am and transport it all the way to maybe Chennai, for example.
Mm-hmm. So you want to say the pricing in your area of selling is lower as compared to the southern market?
No. What I'm saying is the pricing, see, these are all commodity, specialty chemicals is really a commodity market. So the pricing remains same for different suppliers. All suppliers are there's a narrow band in which these prices will operate. What will differentiate you is your operating efficiency in terms of margins.
Okay.
And that operating efficiency can come from a combination of manufacturing, sourcing, logistics, and all of these put together.
Yeah, but even if you see last quarter to this quarter, there is no improvement in the chemical margin. So you were inefficient in last quarter as well and this quarter as well. So, but there should be some improvement from last quarter to this quarter. Am I correct?
I'm not sure, when you said that there needs to be an improvement, because as I said, we are running the specialty chemicals business at about, 12 to 15% net margin, which I believe is very healthy for that kind of product line.
Okay. Okay, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Manish Shrivastava from Amala Management. Please go ahead.
Hello.
Go ahead, sir. You're audible.
Yeah. Fine. So I actually wanted to take on further on that ethyl acetate question. Obviously, we have an adverse logistics cost situation, which is why our margins could be a bit lower than our competitors. But the business has been doing very well. I can see from your numbers this quarter, last quarter, your return on capital was in mid-30s. And is it primarily because of pricing? Where do you see pricing sustaining? I can see the prices have improved a lot in last 2 quarters, from about, say, mid-50 rupees a kg to mid-70 rupees a kg. What do you think will happen on that side? And if the price is correct, do you think the sort of margin we are earning is sustainable, or how do we play there?
I think this is the kind of business, where you will have stable prices and stable profits, and then have 1 or 2 quarters, maybe a year of high prices and very high profits, and we are in that cycle now. Do I see us continuing with 15% profit level of profitability level in ethyl acetate? The answer is no. It may continue for another quarter or 2. If you have to look at long-term trends of prices. So in ethyl acetate, historically the price has been in the 65-70 rupee band, and currently we are in the 80+ rupee band. So will it come back to 70-75 levels? Yes, but it's hard to predict when it will.
So what do you think are sustainable sort of margin levels here in ethyl and return on capital that the company should be targeting in this business?
I would say 8 to 10% is sustainable margin for this kind of business.
At around 65-70 rupee pricing, 8 to 10% margin is what you think is sustainable?
Yes.
Okay, fair enough. And you would look to add capacity here, because even at those levels, your return on capital would be significantly in excess of your cost of capital. I would think that at those levels also you'll end up with about 20% plus dollar return on capital. So do you look to add capacity there in that business? As in, you've just added some, but do you think that's a business which you would want to grow, or the focus will be squarely on pharma side and diversifying the pharma product pool?
So we are, in the process of evaluating or certainly growth opportunities on the pharma side. We are parallelly also looking at growth opportunities on expanding our specialty chemical portfolio. And once those molecules are frozen in, we'll have to take a call whether what's a better return on capital. Are we better off adding capacity on ethyl acetate, or should we be adding a different product list into our portfolio?
Fair enough. One small clarification on metformin also, you're running at that 40 to 70% capacity utilization, or that's higher?
So that is slightly higher than that.
Okay, fair enough.
We are running that at about 60% for now.
Okay, fair enough. Thanks.
Thank you. Participants, you may press star and one to ask a question. Ladies and gentlemen, you may press star and one to ask a question. Participants, you may press star and one to ask a question. The next question is from the line of Ashish Rathi from Lucky Investment Managers. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thanks for the follow-up. Just wanted to check on capacities only. So metformin, what is the capacity right now in terms of tons per annum?
So on metformin, my capacity utilization is currently about 60%, and I have a installed capacity of around 11,000 tons.
Oh, that has been significantly ramped up, it seems.
Yes.
So there was a ramp up of around 5,000-6,000 tons this year, is it?
Yes, we ramped up about 7,000 tons.
Wow. And that has come to 60%. Phenomenal. And the kind of pricing that we enjoy in metformin, are we also like so what are we doing here? We are supplying the metformin formulations, or we are supplying it to supply type APIs? What are we doing here exactly?
Yeah, supplying the API.
And the key customers would be domestic here?
Yeah, right now it's domestic. We are under approval from some export customers.
Okay. And just a minute. And pantoprazole, what is the capacity now for us?
Pantoprazole, I have a 200 ton plus capacity that I'm currently running at about 40% asset utilization.
Okay. And fenofibrate?
So the fenofibrate product is actually in a multi-product facility, and I think it's hard to give individual capacities for these molecules. But that particular unit, unit is running at a 70% plus asset utilization.
Okay, I was made to believe it is around 180 MTPAs, when we first started it. Is that correct?
Yeah. So, if I do, only pantoprazole, if I do only for clopidogrel in that unit, I can do about 180 tons, but I'm doing a combination of one or two products. And so I'm balancing out the capacity of both the different products, and their combined asset utilization is running at about 74%.
Okay, so we end up doing we end up doing less than 180 MTPA for fenofibrate and clopidogrel. Is that what you're saying? So like 90 or something like that? No, I'm kind of confused about this.
I am not able to understand your question.
I'm asking this 180 MTPAs if you do standalone only say clopidogrel in that unit. That is what you're saying?
Correct.
Okay. But since you also do fenofibrate along with say clopidogrel here, you end up doing much lesser than that. So like a 50-50 utilization if we do for the plant for both of these products, then you'll end up doing 90 for each. Is that the way to interpret it?
Yes. So, if I do 50-50, then I will do 90 for clopi and 90 for fenofibrate and clopi put together.
Okay. And sir, in gabapentin, how is the pricing environment? If you could help us understand what are the prices for gabapentin now?
So, the prices for gabapentin continue to be fairly stable at about, I would say broadly $40 to $50 levels.
Okay, and capacity you said 600 tons is what you plan to do.
Yeah, so that capacity, don't take that in isolation because we can do other products in that plant as well.
So next year, say FY22, what is the kind of total gabapentin that we can do in terms of sales?
So right now, I would say only if I look at it from a gabapentin perspective, I would be running that at an asset utilization of about 30 to 40%.
And the total capacity, 600?
No.
The total capacity is how much?
So the installed capacity is 600, but because I'll be making other products there as well, I would have, it's hard to deconvolute between 2-3 different products.
No, that's a fair point. That is understandable. All right. Thank you so much for the follow-up. Yeah, I'm done.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Kiran Kumar, an individual investor. Please go ahead.
Thank you so much. I think most of my questions are answered.
Sir, sorry to interrupt you. We're unable to hear you.
Can you hear me now? Am I audible?
A little better than before. Are you on a handset or on a speakerphone?
I'm on a handset only.
Okay, sir. Great. Go ahead.
Just wanted to know how much amount did we spend on the capex for FY21?
112. We spent 112 crores.
Okay, and so we have a chunk of cash sitting on our balance sheet, and how do we, how are you planning to deploy the same going forward?
So we are looking at a couple of different, growth ideas, and once we take a decision on how to move forward on those, we will do a combination of that and, figure out ways to reward our investors.
Okay, that's it from my side. Just wanted to add that, the investor presentation also looks much better than the last quarter. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your positive comments.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Sayantan Bomik from Pine Bridge Investments. Please go ahead.
Hello. Thank you for this opportunity. I just was wondering if you could share the non-ibuprofen sales for the year and for the quarter, if it's possible.
So I would say broadly my non-ibu sales, let's take it for the year because, this is a work in progress. I would say overall it's about 10% of my total revenue.
Okay. And when we look at new products, so would we be largely focused on scale, or would we also look at smaller size, higher value? How are we thinking in terms of new products? Is it largely a scale play?
So there are multiple lenses through which you can view new products. One is new to the world and new to us. Then the second is scale. The third is a type of chemistry that it uses. Then you can look at, what kind of backward integration can be achieved. Then you can look at what kind of process innovation is possible. And then last but not the least, you look at what is the kind of competition out there. Can we really compete with those players and make a meaningful indent into end customers? So clearly we have no desire to be in products where we won't get a meaningful market share in terms of global market share.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Suhani Doshi from Lapis India Capital Advisors. Please go ahead.
Hello, sir. Just one question. Can you give us the volume breakup for ibuprofen for FY21? Volume growth over 20?
In terms of percentage, or you want the actual volumes?
Both would be good.
2%. So I think we are looking at this past year versus the year before that, right?
Yes, 20 and 21.
Yeah, it was more or less flat.
Okay. Can you give me the absolute volume in terms of sales?
9,400. It's about 9,400 tons.
9,400 tons. Okay. And is it this ethyl acetate expansion came on stream in Q4? Is it?
No, we did that in Q4, but the production started only now.
Okay, so there was no additional capacity revenues in Q4 revenue.
No. Nope.
Okay, and so what is the overall growth of ibuprofen market over the last 3-4 years as a global growth?
So overall, ibuprofen as a market is growing at about 4% globally.
Okay. And any new capacity expansions that you know of coming up globally?
No, I think BASF has already expanded their capacity. Other than that, there is no other meaningful player with the size and scale.
Okay, sure. Thank you. That's it from my side.
The next question is from the line of Pawan Gupta, an individual investor. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi. Good afternoon, and thank you for the opportunity. My question is...
Pawan Gupta, may I request you to unmute your line from your side and go ahead with your question, please?
Yeah, can you hear now?
Pawan Gupta, we are unable to hear you. May I request you to unmute your line from your side and go ahead with your question?
Yeah, I am on unmute only, actually. Can you hear now?
Due to no response, we move on to the next participant. The next question is from the line of Shanti Patel, an individual investor. Please go ahead.
Good afternoon, sir. My question is, what is the proportion of ibuprofen sales to total revenue in the last year? Hello? Are you getting my voice?
Your voice is, the audio quality is very poor, sir. I'm not able to hear you.
Don't worry.
Your line from your side and go ahead with
Now?
your question.
Hello? Hello? Hello?
This is better.
Correct? Better, no? My simple question is, what is the proportion of ibuprofen sales to total revenue for the year 2021, and what will be the proportion in the coming year? That is number one. And number two, what is our return on capital employed and return on equity, and whether the same will be maintained in the subsequent year, that is the coming year.
So, you asked, 2 or 3 questions in there. Your first question was around
proportion of IV profile to total sales of IV profile to total sales last year, that is 2021.
Okay. So I think overall, if I look at ibuprofen sales as a function of total revenue, it's around 60%.
And will it be same in the coming year also?
I'm not able to hear what you're saying, sir.
1 minute. I will go at the right place. Hello, now? Hello? Hello?
Yes. So now we can hear you.
Will it be the same proportion in the coming year, that is 21, 22?
I'm sorry, Mr. Patel, your audio quality is very, very poor. So
I am in the right place.
Control remove. Maybe if you remove that, it might work.
Now is it okay?
Shanti Patel, are you on a speakerphone or on a handset?
No. I'm on this thing only. There is no problem. I think. Are you getting my voice now? Hello. Hello.
Sorry.
Hello.
Sir, why don't you make and we will respond to you.
Okay.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, that was the last question for today. I will now hand the conference over to the management for closing comments.
So, thank you all for this opportunity. I hope, we've been able to answer most of your questions, and you got a sense of not just how the company performed in this past year, but, certain direction in terms of what we are going to achieve this year. And more importantly, understand that what is the transition that we are going through. We continue to be focused on specialty chemicals and pharma. Within pharma, we are de-risking ourselves away from ibuprofen and launching more and more products. And that part of the revenue continues to grow. This past year, we delivered on the non-ibuprofen pharma business 10% of the total revenue. And this year going forward, that will be certainly a higher number than 10%. maybe around 15% or so is what we want to deliver for this year. And, over the next couple of years, really transition the company that historically has been 50% pharma, 50% chemicals, more into 70% pharma and, 30% chemicals. Within that, 70% of pharma, a disproportionate number coming from, non-IBU products. So I think, I hope this gives you the confidence that, you are in the right hands. We will maintain our EBIT margins. We will continue to grow, our overall base business as well. And every quarter I look forward to, engaging with all our investors and giving you a more keen sense of where we are going as an organization. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. On behalf of IOL Chemicals and